coming up tonight on Now. Finding an impartial jury for one of Maine's most high-profile murder cases. Why it's not as easy as you may think.
And new technology could help change the flight pattern at the Portland Jetport for the first time in years. Will this address noise complaints? We'll find out.
Remember the movie School of Rock with Jack Black? Awesome movie. Hope you're in the mood for some rock and roll tonight, because we're going to Spruce Mountain High School where they are rocking for sure. This is News Center Now.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Lindsay Mills.
And I'm Lee Nelson. So glad you are with us. We begin tonight with one of the highest profile cases in Maine in a long time, the murder trial of John Williams. He's the man accused of shooting and killing Somerset County Police Deputy Eugene Cole in April of 2018.
Jury selection started today in Cumberland County, but a lot of people are wondering how hard it will be to find an objective jury. Sam York is here to break it down. Hey, Sam.
Yeah, guys, so this is something that, or a case that a lot of Mainers are probably familiar with, especially in Somerset County where the incident occurred, which is why one of the steps to find an impartial jury was to move the trial to a completely different county. Court officials say finding objective jurors when it comes to cases like this can be a challenge, but it's not impossible.
Somerset County Sheriff's Deputy Eugene Cole is shot to death.
With 2 days on the run, police ratchet up their search for John Williams.
The nationwide manhunt for John Williams ends where it began.
He's received national attention for allegedly shooting and killing Somerset County Sheriff's Deputy Eugene Cole back in April of 2018.
We wavering.
Now, a little more than a year after the incident, John Williams' murder trial is set to begin. But after all the publicity, will the court be able to find an impartial jury?
It is possible, but it is challenging.
As a district attorney, Jonathan Sarbeck has handled hundreds of cases over the years. He says each one comes with unique challenges, especially in today's world of technology.
Social media, the 24-hour news cycle have really changed the game when it comes to picking jurors. It's much more difficult to find people who haven't heard of the facts.
More difficult, but not impossible. Sarbeck says even if potential jurors know about Williams' case, it doesn't mean they won't be picked.
Some people may have already heard about the facts of a case, but may not have formed an opinion, which would make them still able to be fair and impartial when hearing the facts.
To make sure of this, court officials will spend hours this week combing through more than 300 possible jurors. A tedious task, but one Sarbeck says is crucial.
Judges and prosecutors and defense attorneys will have to go through and speak to all the possible jurors to make sure that they have not formed an opinion. It's very important to seat a jury that's going to listen to the facts and apply the law because the defendant does have a right to a fair trial.
Jury selection is expected to finish up this week, but Sarbeck says it will go as long as it takes them to find the 12 jurors and 2 alternatives. And I did ask him if that's never happened. He can't remember a time. So hopefully they'll be able to get through quickly this week. And then the trial is set to begin a week from today.
I can't believe it's already June.
Yeah.
We've been saying for so long slated to start in June.
Right,
Yep.
and here it is.
Now it is.
Here
Here it is.
Yep.
All right, Sam, thank you very much.
Guys.
Of course, we have much more news coming up in a little bit. We want to talk about the weather, though. A gorgeous day. First time I feel like I can say that
Right?
and really mean it.
Right? I had to look for those sunglasses. Forgot where I put them.
Lee was revitalized by
I
today.
was revitalized.
Very happy. Yeah, I think it's amazing how much we've talked about this, how much your mood can be impacted
Yes.
Absolutely.
by the weather. It's
Absolutely.
Even if you're a happy person or you're not a happy person, it can swing. So everybody felt better today, I would say, except for that it's a small group that enjoys rain. We'll get an email about that later. 69 for a high today in Portland. Look at all these 69s. Gronk would love this. 70 in Bangor, 70 in Millinocket as well, and 68 in Freiburg. What's interesting, though, is that it was a little bit breezy. It didn't feel warm, right? It felt comfortable, and that's how I think much of this week will be. We've got a lot of circulation here coming out of the mountains and some clouds and showers up there, and some showers over northern Maine as well, so a different day there where they're seeing a couple of showers. I don't there's much thunder in here, but maybe a few downpours towards Millinocket and Holton as well. Those are moving out, and a few showers back to the west that have been banking up against the mountains and not getting over them. So that's been going on all day today. 2 different days depending on your location in Maine. So those showers die out tonight, and it's clear. It's actually a little coolish into the low 40s and even some upper 30s in spots by tomorrow morning. That's away from the coast, of course. But tomorrow is a very similar day. It's largely sunny with just a few mountain pop-up showers. Guys, the bar, of course, is low, but this will be probably our best week since early March or so.
Awesome.
That sounds good to me.
It sounds fabulous. Thank you, Keith, very much. Talk to you again in a bit, of course. Let's get to some news. Actor Kevin Spacey is trying to get the criminal case against him thrown out of court for what he calls misconduct on the part of the prosecutor and his accuser's family. Spacey is charged with indecent assault and battery against a young man at a bar on Nantucket in 2016. That young man, who is the son of former Boston TV anchorwoman Heather Unruh, claims Spacey groped him. The misconduct that Spacey is alluding to? Well, his attorney claims the young man's phone was erased by his mother before it was turned over to prosecutors. Spacey did not speak during his hearing this morning, nor did he answer reporters' questions when he arrived or left the courthouse on Nantucket today.
A makeshift memorial meant to honor the 12 victims of last week's shooting in Virginia continues to grow today. 12 wooden crosses, along with American flags, flowers, and other mementos, sit outside the site of Friday's mass shooting in Virginia Beach. Dwayne Graddock, a longtime government employee, resigned from his job Friday morning and then hours later opened fire in the city's municipal building. He killed 12 and wounded 4 others. 11 of the murder victims were city employees and 1 was a contractor. The suspected shooter was killed in a shootout with police.
Chipotle says the Trump administration's threatened tariffs on Mexican products could add $15 million to its costs this year. Under the Trump plan, tariffs would start at 5% on June 10th, but rise to 25% in October. Chipotle officials say if the tariffs do become permanent, they would have to offset them through cost-cutting efforts or modest price increases, maybe 5 cents per burrito, they said. Chipotle is an American company, but it uses produce grown in Mexico, including almost 500,000 avocados every single day.
It's a lot of guac.
That is a lot of guac. A lot of good guac.
Yeah.
This week, Mainers concerned about noise at the Portland Jetport have the chance to meet with the officials from the Federal Aviation Administration.
That's because for the first time in decades, there's a chance the airport could change its approach plan to eliminate possibly the need to fly over South Portland neighborhoods.
Everybody would like this to happen yesterday, right?
Portland International Jetport Director Paul Bradbury says he's aware of the complaints the airport's Noise Advisory Committee has received over the years.
We have an opportunity to start evaluating what's called a required navigation performance procedure, approach procedure, which would bring aircraft over the water when they approach instead of over South Portland.
For the last couple of decades, planes have been able to fly in or depart over the Fore River in what's called the harbor approach. But according to Bradbury, only during daylight hours and when weather cooperates. Even wind can interfere on a clear day.
Unfortunately, when people are most concerned about noise is at night when the harbor visual approach is not available.
In 2012, the Jetport tried to change its approach plan to the required navigation performance procedure, which would potentially allow aircraft to land from over the water in bad weather or at night.
But the technology at the time was not capable of doing that approach because it has tight turns on final.
Now with that technology available, the FAA is tasked with developing and implementing that approach at the Jetport. And Wednesday, they'll meet with residents at a public meeting to clear the air with any questions they may have.
So now the FAA can really give the technical reality of how long it will take and what's required to happen.
So relief from the noise could happen within the next couple of years, but that all, of course, depends on the FAA and what they decide. The public meeting is scheduled for Wednesday night at 5:30 at South Portland City Hall. And I was all over South Portland earlier today talking to some folks who were actually out mowing the lawn. They were probably waiting days and days to do this. And, you know, a lot of folks said, you know what, they don't hear it or the noise doesn't bother them, but there are 80% of the complaints that are filed do come from South Portland.
Yep. Yeah, I guess some people, you just get used to it over time, right? It's
sure.
Like, it's like the train going through your backyard.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. All right. Well, up next, Amazon is upping its service for Prime customers We're going to tell you more about that.
And a concert 10 years in the making. We're going to see what Rock of Ages is all about.
Well, you could certainly tell this by my shopping cart online. Amazon is rolling out its free one-day shipping for Prime members today. I'm taking advantage.
Are you? Okay,
Yeah.
Jumping right in? All right. More than 10 million products can now be shipped to your door in one day if you're a Prime member. Okay, one-day delivery will be available from coast to coast with no minimum purchase required. Amazon says the most popular one-day items range from books to beauty and baby wipes to devices, dish detergent, doggy bags, so it kind of runs the gamut here. The e-commerce giant plans to continue adding more products to its one-day delivery service. However, shipping speeds vary between 1 to 5 days when you're sending stuff or getting stuff in Alaska, Hawaii, and Puerto Rico.
That's understandable.
Yeah.
June is Pride Month, and Lyft is offering new features to the LGBTQ community. One new feature, a pronoun options for riders, meaning you can choose to be called they, them, or theirs, or you can stick with the more traditional he or she or him or hers. You can also choose none of the above. The company said the new feature helps to demonstrate its support for transgender and non-binary riders. And to update your pronoun, just visit the menu in the Lyft app, tap View Profile, then tap Personal Info, and then that's where you can select your pronoun and click Save.
After dropping off supplies to the International Space Station, SpaceX Dragon cargo craft has left the ISS now to return back to Earth. And part of the 4,200 pounds on board was research about finding a way to protect astronaut health on long missions. According to SpaceX, the craft should land within the hour.
Safe travels to them.
Smoothly, yeah. Wild weekend for deer around the country, okay? We're going to see how some of them tried to live like humans for a little bit.
Very interesting. And Keith returns with a full look at his forecast. Welcome back, everyone. Students at Spruce Mountain High School in Jay got to show off what 10 years of rock and roll looks like.
Yeah, they have a program called Rock of Ages. It started back in '09, on the heels of the Jack Black Film School of Rock a few years before. Rob Nesbitt tonight shows us what this high school's take on rock and roll looks like.
You wait. I mean, they are killing this.
You can tell by the energy that something good is about to happen on stage at Spruce Mountain High School.
Oh, yeah, awesome.
Diane Fenlison preparing the crowd while her music students prepare backstage for their end-of-the-year concert.
It'll be fun.
Not a chorus, jazz band, or drum line. This concert is Rock of Ages.
All right, ready? On three. Let's get this bread.
A class credit for students who love all things rock and roll.
2009, I had a group of kids that I started with that they were interested in different style of music, and I'm like, okay. So I gave it to them, and we just did this mini version of this.
10 years later, and it's still going strong.
Yeah, put your hands together for B sharp.
1, 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, rock. 5, 6, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, rock.
Contemporary instruments like the electric guitar, drums, and even a mandolin. Junior Olivia Payne is ending her second year of Rock of Ages and plays several of those instruments, including her voice. Surrounded by friends who also enjoy rock, as well as others who were introduced to it in class.
Learning experience with working with other kids who may not have known anything about music before they got in, and seeing how much they progress and seeing us working together, and at the end it's a great outcome. I mean, sometimes it sounds almost like the original, it's super cool.
This was not a typical end of the year concert. It was an excuse to celebrate a decade worth of learning.
Excited for the show?
Inviting alumni like 22-year-old Chris Floyd to come and see what their Rock of Ages legacy looks like.
Okay, so I'll hit record.
When you enjoy a class as much as he did, you volunteer yourself to do sound and anything else the teacher needs.
It's pretty rewarding, really. I mean, they all love it, and I love it. It's just a blast.
Nothing on the table.
It wasn't easy to prepare the 14-song set for the night, but every rocker put in the work.
This is gonna be oh gee.
There were expectations to live up to after all, just part of the curriculum that's retained.
They get it, you know, you have to be on time because that's what they expect of your job. You have to be a leader because that's how you move ahead. You know, all of these life lessons are demonstrated in this class.
When you care about a school subject, the grade reflects it. Clearly, no report card needed here to see how the year went, the bobs of the heads and taps of the shoes are all sure signs that rock and roll is still cool, and Rock of Ages will not be leaving the building.
See how it's like so much fun, but you're also learning something, so you get a credit and you feel like good about it.
It's awesome. So talented.
It is awesome. It's great to have them play things that they want to play, you know, because probably they'll practice harder and they'll be more involved, so it's good.
Absolutely.
I used to be in jazz band back
Yeah.
in the day. That was
You
like
were?
way more fun. Yeah. Oh yeah. And then we had a rock band.
Now, what did you do in it?
Play drums.
Nice.
Very
There you go.
cool.
You're playing a little bit right now.
I can play the drums.
Yeah.
They had me play on 207 a little bit ago, and everyone was shocked I had a skill. Like any skill, not additional, because that would imply I had one to begin with.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
It's really like I was like, yeah, I play drums. I played, and they're like, oh, you really play? I'm like, yeah, this is what I just told you. Like, I used to be really into it, but to your point, Lee, I remember I had a drum instructor who he made me play all this traditional stuff, and I just didn't
Right,
enjoy it.
right.
You know, it's just not as much fun.
Yeah.
All right, it's supposed to be fun, right? That's why I do this job. Currently 69 in Wiscasset, 65 in Augusta, cooler into the mountains where it's been a different day, more clouds, couple of showers there, but a lot of us saw just a bunch of sunshine today, and we've been dying for that because yesterday we were socked in a lot of the state. It just was really kind of a nasty day, so a big turnaround for today. There's a circulation in the atmosphere, and from that we're driving these showers uphill into the mountains, but they're not getting downhill, and so that's why it's been all banked up into the high terrain, and some showers over northern Maine as well. But all these drying up. We're in good shape tonight and into tomorrow, and you can see the last of these showers pushing out of the state relatively quickly. Certainly in Patton we've still got another hour and a half of shower activity to go there. So those dry up by midnight tonight. It is clear, it is cool-ish into the 40s, some 30s in the mountains. We start off crisp tomorrow, but a lot of sun tomorrow through the middle of the day. Tomorrow afternoon, a couple of showers may pop up in the mountains, but I don't think it's going to be a big deal. Most of us stay dry, and then we're partly cloudy overnight. Wednesday and Thursday look more unsettled than the rest of the week, but even still, they're not terrible days. Wednesday, we've got a couple of showers around the southern third of the state especially, but some of us will stay dry, and then on Thursday, we've got some showers coming through in the morning, but able to get those out by Thursday, probably late morning to midday, and then we're kind of sailing after that. Looks pretty good looking ahead into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. What's interesting is we finally get some semblance of high pressure to build down for us for those 3 days. I don't think Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are going to be the best Friday, Saturday, and Sunday you've ever seen, but they should be dry. Temperatures a little on the coolish side, but a good deal of sunshine, and that's going to be the big thing that we just haven't been able to hold on to for quite a while. Temperatures about average. You know, we might pop to low 70s here and there, but there's no big warmth to be had. However, there's a lot more sun than we've been seeing. And you know, I said best week since early March. I should qualify that a little bit as relative to the season.
Right.
So we had a couple of great early March weeks for early March. Now this is the first time since then, I think, that we've had some consistent sun.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a bit.
It has been a long time.
So
No, it's great.
that's
It
really
is
nice.
great. That looks, you know, not perfect, but
A lot better.
an improvement. Faux show.
Exactly, moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
How about these next couple of stories?
Yeah.
They definitely could have happened in Maine, but surprise, surprise, they didn't. Running is always more fun with a group of friends. It doesn't really matter if they're human though, right? Runner Jared Weenjaws took this selfie near Detroit yesterday. A trio of deer dashed behind and alongside him for half a mile. He said he was thrilled with his parade. Looks like they're chasing him.
And also, check out the deer caught on camera crashing through a barbershop in Kentucky. This is surveillance video from Goodman's Barbershop showing the moment the deer broke through the front window. This is last week. The deer came out of nowhere and then knocked into a barber, ran toward the back of the shop. Some customers scurried out of the shop mid-haircut, while others stayed kind of stayed out of the way as the whole thing unfolded. The deer eventually made his way back outside to the front door. Remind me at some point to tell you the story of the deer that broke into our house years ago.
Goodness.
Yes, indeed.
Good
That was
story for
very
Facebook
problematic.
Live.
Yes, yes, indeed. Yeah, we'll tell it in the break.
Okay.
Don't forget tonight, Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Final, of course.
Yes, and with a win tonight, the Bruins would need just one more victory to host the greatest trophy in sports.
The Bees and the Blues battle it out tonight at 8, and you can watch it right here on News Center Maine. Stay tuned to our website and mobile app for Bruins coverage, too, including a nice story that Lindsay was talking about, Hannah's story about what the whole cup means to her and her family. It's really great.
It really is awesome. It's at our website right now if you want to check it out.
All right, great.
Finish watching News Center at 5:36, and
Right.
then you can switch
Right.
gears to the
Otherwise, it won't work.
Right, and speaking of, we have a lot more coming up on News Center Maine at 5:30.
That's right. Coming up in the next half hour, we're expecting some major pushback tonight on the location of a new homeless shelter in the city of Portland. The city is hearing from the public on the last 2 sites that are now under consideration. One advocate from the homeless doesn't like either site and wants the city to start this search process all over again. So we'll have the latest on that. Plus, Apple is unveiling some new tech, including a dark mode for its new iOS 13 iPhone software. Also, a new Maps and a health app that tracks all kinds of things, and I mean all kinds of things.
Interesting.
That's coming up at 5:30.
Maybe too much that
Maybe
we
a
don't
little
want
too
tracked.
much. Some things
interesting.
you ought to be able to track on your own.
All right.
Sure.
Okay. Just saying.
We're back with Brain Drops after this.
All right, today's Brain Drop's just fun because every once in a while I make you feel like the world's going to end.
You
and
make me
I'm
feel
try-
so small.
I'm trying to be easier on the
Yes.
on Mama Mills
Thanks.
here. Okay,
You're
let's
so
have a look.
considerate.
Look at this here. This is.
This makes me feel really good.
No, you know what? You know what you think this is? This is not snow. Let's run it again.
Okay.
That is hail.
Where is this?
This is so much hail. This is in New Mexico. I believe this town is right outside Roswell, New Mexico. And I just thought this was cool because I've seen a good deal of hail. I've seen hail cover the ground,
Yeah.
but I've never seen it like that. And it just has to do with the dynamics. We never get this here in Maine, but I think it's pretty awesome. And please do not confuse hail for sleet anymore. So my mom still does this, and it drives me crazy because I've corrected it so many times. During the winter, it's sleet. During the summer, if it's a thunderstorm, it's hail.
I didn't know the difference.
Yeah, no, it's very
now
common.
I do.
But that's the difference.
So
Sleet,
can you have like golf ball size sleet in the winter?
No.
No.
If you do something that's gone very wrong.
Okay.
No. The sleet will stay small. The hail can vary in size.
Okay.
A lot of cars had a bad day there, I bet.
Absolutely. Ugh, pays to have a garage sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't have one, I wouldn't know. News Center Maine at 5:30 starts right now.